No doubt about it, the Focus RS is the hatch of the moment. In Essex, people kneel when you drive past in one. But making shopping trolleys go very fast is Renault's specialist subject too, and the new Megane Renaultsport 250, despite being well down on, well, everything from power to aerofoils, fancies a real pop at the Focus. And what about our Spanish pals? Well, this new Leon Cupra R has buckets of power, but it's just so ordinary, so vanilla in the way it drives, that we think it doesn't really pose a threat to the Focus, so we'll probably park it here. And then there's the dear old Golf GTI, a great everyday all-rounder, but with the new Golf R about to arrive, it's not really chasing the same punter. Okay, it'll do little jumps, but just look at the stability control here. No, game over for the Golf too.
So we're left with these two, and it wasn't really much in doubt, was it? These are the two best drivers' cars of the four. We're in Wales. This is the only sheltered part of North Wales at the moment. It's blowing a howler around us and the road conditions are not good. So what are we left with? Ford Focus RS, Megane Renaultsport 250 Cup. Quite a surprising car, this 250 Cup. The specifications would lead you to believe that that should have around 240 horsepower and the Ford should have 301 horsepower. However, Evo's rolling road test has revealed that the truth is somewhat different. The Megane has 270 horsepower and the Focus is well down, only has 278 horsepower. So the big horsepower gap is actually whittled down to just 8 horsepower, and don't forget the Megane is considerably lighter. So at the track there was very little in it in terms of straight line performance. On the road, well, let's go and find out. I'm pretty excited by this Megane. I'm initially amazed at what Renault's managed to achieve with a twist beam rear suspension. It shouldn't be as sophisticated as the Focus, but it covers ground well, and it is a great thing to drive. So let's go and find out what they can do. So the Megane does spring quite a few surprises, but the Focus remains a pretty remarkable vehicle, and I'll define it in one word, and that is excitement. Whatever the Megane does, however technically competent it is, it will never match this thing for just pure balls out, in your face, you, I'm around performance. There's nothing else like it. It's a quite incredible car. And even though the performance figures are quite similar in a straight line when you're going absolutely balls out, well, the in-gear times they're not in the same league. This car has got more pace, it's got more torque, and it's got a much bigger power band. What I find interesting when I drive them back to back is that there's quite a few of the sort of hot hatch fundaments that the Megane gets absolutely spot on, and in doing so exposes the Focus as being a little bit wobbly in some key areas. They're things that you wouldn't think are important, but actually really contribute to the overall appeal of the vehicle. Stuff like the seating position, you know, I'm just sitting about half a foot too high in this car. The steering wheel is too low. The pedal box, or rather the attack angle of my feet onto the pedals, is just all a bit wrong. Now, you can make allowances for that, and I wouldn't allow it to really taint my overall view of the car, but given the Megane is so competent on the road and so much fun, it means the Focus has got to really deliver in some of those key areas, and it is coming up a little bit short for me. Sounds odd, but I do love it. You know, this engine just sounds outrageous. The Megane just sounds like a really fast, slightly parpy version of a Megane, whereas this, God, it just sounds sort of Audi Quattro in the forest, making lots of noise, bangs and pops on the overrun. You know, it sounds expensive in a way the Renault doesn't. So what is it about the Focus that feels a little bit aloof then? Well, I can't get hung up on steering feel because I don't think many modern cars really have steering feel, but that's another debate. This car in isolation doesn't have much steering feel. I'm moving the wheel now, and I feel confident that whatever I put in through the steering wheel equals a certain amount of movement. So I can put the car where I want to put it on the road, but it's not feeding anything back. And I'm sitting quite high. In fact, I'm sitting very high, so I feel quite detached from the experience, which is odd because the Focus does want to bring you into the experience in the way that it sounds and the way that it goes. So there's a little bit of a sort of disconnect there that the Renault exploits very cleverly because it does that stuff better.